They've lost 4 straight. For context, if you lose more than 7 games in college football, thus you'd only have 5 wins, you don't make a bowl game. James Jones, I would suggest that if Colorado doesn't make a bowl game, this would be a failure on the football field for Prime. Off the football field, Deion Sanders has won at a higher clip than anybody in sports in the last 20 years. But on the field, this would be a failure. And I can't be a liar up here. I said before the season on September 1st, I said my own words, hey, he's got to make a bowl game. We had a mutual conversation at this desk. The opinion on Deion Sanders, it varied from making a bowl game to going to the college football playoffs. But to some degree, we all agreed he had to make a bowl game. If you don't make a bowl game, then on the field, what you did was just not that impressive. I will speak of 2 coaches I know personally. Jim Mora, current coach at UConn. UConn didn't even play a football season in 2020 during COVID. 2021, they won 1 game. 2022, Jim Mora took over as the head coach of UConn, and they made a bowl game, 1-6. My close friend, former teammate, me and LeSean McCoy, G.J. Kinney, current head coach at Texas State. He was a practice squad guy. You probably don't remember.
Come on, I know him. I know him, man.
Current head coach at Texas State. Took over Texas State. They're currently 6-4. About to make himself a bowl game. On the field is where I would say it would be a failure if they don't make a bowl game. They got to win tomorrow to keep that hope alive.
Yeah, you remember what number my dog was on the practice squad? No, I won't remember that.
That's my dog, man. You're crazy.
Oh, no, man, I agree. I stood on this show and I said that if Prime gets to 6 to 7 wins, that's a successful season. Obviously, he needs these last 2 games to get to that. And I do not think it's going to happen. So I truly believe that this season for Prime on the football field and for Prime standards will be a failure. And not only will it be a failure, you lost 4 in a row. You don't beat Wazoo, Washington State, that's 5 in a row. You're probably not going to beat Utah, so you're going into the offseason on a 6-game losing streak. However you slice it up, dice it up, whatever, know how many good plays you made in the season, beating TCU to start the season, none of that truly matters if you end this season on a 6-game losing streak. To me, on the football field, that is a failure. I don't care what program we're talking about. If we're talking about a program and they lose 6 straight football games, we're not going to say that's a success. We don't care if it's year 1, year 2, year 10. So for me, for them to lose 6 straight, that is a failure and not make a bowl game. And the disappointing thing about it is they had the opportunities to get to 6, and they didn't. And that's why I feel like it's a failure on the football field.
Yeah, I think it would be disappointing. I don't know if I can jump to failure. I think we got a little off the rails with our expectations based off of how the season started. And let's be serious. If Prime wasn't at Colorado and Colorado had just won those 3 games, we would not be talking about Colorado. It's just that's just the facts. And I think that we can also give Prime some room to grow, not just the program. Is that, I hate the word fair, but is that reasonable to do? Does Prime have the space to grow into being a better coach, into developing the program more? Or do we have to see the result that we all wanted based off of the expectations that we then laid there? And they encouraged, obviously, they participated in the expectations as well. It's not like they were shying away from anything that was happening there. But I don't want to repurpose the conversation, but that's how I feel about it. I feel like I can't jump to failure. I think it's disappointing. They did have opportunities. I think it's a missed opportunity, generally speaking. But I also think that Prime can grow as well as the program can. How long was Jim Mora coaching in college football before he got to UConn?
I don't know. He'd been out for about 10 years. It was his first year there. He'd been on ESPN.
He had coached before.
Yeah, coached before.
Yeah.
And in the NFL.
Yes. So he had a lot of coaching experience. I don't know how much your friend's coaching experience was.
No, GJ first year head coach.
Okay. So also TJ's doing great.
That's my boy.
TJ's doing great. I think we can give Prime room to grow into the role as well, is how I feel about it.
I agree with you, but then again, I think I'm with you with the growing as the franchise or the college program.
No.
But as a coach, we don't want to hear you getting better. We want to hear you good now. Because seriously though, think about when a coach comes there, it's like, all right, you need to be the answer
right now.
Right now. So my thing with Prime is, the question first of all was they need to win, right?
Yeah,
is that the question?
That's the first one, but we know that.
All right. So I'm gonna say it's not a failure though.
Oh well.
Because I get it. It is Coach Prime and it is Deion Sanders. I get it. A lot comes with it. But this team, right, last year won how many games?
One.
Come on, yo. One game? Mm-hmm. So if this team, and they're always usually a bad team, he comes there and they're supposed to be like a different team because he got there? No. I think that what he did do, though, is he brought some light to the team, to the program, right? He's going to get better players. But the players that he did have there, they did win. He did win 4 games, and they won 1. I'm just saying the truth is, like, your face is getting all crazy.
I'll tell you why.
I'll
tell you why.
Let's think about this for a second, though. Like, right now, right, we keep praising how D'Amico Ryans, good friend of ours, and we praise how good they're doing.
Yeah, 5-4.
They're 5-4. I mean, I'm just saying, it's the NFL, though, too, though. Not college NFL.
Sure.
Right, way more games. But that ain't nothing to be bragging about. Yo, we 5-4.
In the playoff picture.
We 5-4.
Currently, they've only won 3 more games than they did last year.
But what I'm saying is that, so when you go from winning 1 game to now you winning 5, that's why we even, so when you talk, hold up, real quick.
Yeah.
When we talked about, okay, the quarterback being a MVP candidate, y'all all said that. That's one.
Yep.
And the second thing is you said that D'Amico Ryans should be considered coach of the year.
Yeah.
So my thing is, okay, you look at the record, they're 5-4. So you beating your chest about that. The reason why you beating your chest was because the year before that, they won how many games?
2.
A couple of
3.
2? 2 or 3,
Here,
whatever it was. That's why we're making them a good team.
Here's the line of demarcation for me is a 1. D'Amico's currently in the playoff picture. Yeah. But I don't want to make this a D'Amico conversation. For me, what it is, Shady, is usually if you don't make a bowl game, at least your coaches will say, hey, y'all, we're building. We're building something special here. But the problem is Prime can't say that because 2 weeks ago he already said, I'm replacing the offensive line. He's already made it very much known a lot of these guys aren't going to be here next year. So if you were on this team and you weren't good, you can't be like, yeah, well, I'm going to be back and we're going to build something special together because I'm probably not going to be back. That's my one thing. My second thing is I would say even Prime would have to say it's a failure because what do all coaches say? And we've all played sports. The first goal is probably win your home games, then maybe win the conference, then make a bowl game, then make the college football playoffs, win the national championship. If Prime only wins 4 games this season, I don't know a world where that would be considered a success by his metric.
We had no expectations at all going into the season for Prime.
I did. We all did. We said it before the season.
Before the season.
Yeah.
We had no idea what was going to happen. We hoped, but before TCU.
We
By
all
the
made
way,
predictions.
That they were 21-point underdogs for, right? We did not know what was going to happen.
No, but we all made predictions.
And those predictions were based, if we're honest, mostly on hope and faith.
Yeah, I said
a lot of hope and a lot of prayer.
Because we had actually no idea what they were going to look like. And they shocked the world with that TCU win. And then we were all then believing. I guess my pushback is I think we are extremely, I don't think we are. We are all extremely impatient. And while the world has changed and we want everything now and Google and a thing, and if it doesn't buffer, we turn it off and like everything has to happen immediately, sometimes, particularly in sports, it is a good reminder that things do take time. I would argue that changing out your offensive line or refurbishing that or bringing in kids from the transfer portal or recruiting them is building. It is building. He's been there for 1 year. And yes, the expectations were high based off of how they played, and that was reasonable. And then we got ahead of ourselves, and they got ahead of ourselves.
But here's my question real quick, if I may.
Great question.
The thought is, what was the point on the field? Like, you expect something from a new coach instantly. That's college football. It really is sports.
No doubt.
Like, Deion's getting paid $5 million also to get wins, to build up the program great. You know this better than anybody. When Brian Kelly took over for Coach O, LSU needed to make noise immediately. And what did they do immediately? Beat Alabama. Shout out to Nephew. Won 10 games. Instantly was in the college football playoff conversation.
That's Louisiana State University.
The same Louisiana State that was 6-7 the year before.
6 and 7, not one win.
But from 6 to 10, from barely making the college.
So all right, let's just take it all the way back. First of all, you talking about a coach that went from Notre Dame to LSU.
Yes,
LSU's been a winning program for years, right? We are talking about Colorado, right? They don't win no games. They won that one game last year. They stormed the field. We so happy. My thing is this: expectation level. That's one thing in sports that you always gonna get. But you can't tell me that Coach Prime, what he's done there, is good. You can't tell me. I mean,
isn't good.
Yeah, you can't tell me it's not good. I'm sorry.
On the field, it's not.
You can't say that when a program like that is won one game last year. For example,
go ahead. I'll chill.
LSU, they should win games. Yeah. They should win games.
But they weren't.
They should win games.
Agreed.
They won championships and et cetera. Where Colorado, they not getting that. Nobody think they're going to win those games.
Yeah.
Come on, playoffs and all that? No, there's no way. Nobody can win their conference. No way. Yeah. But now that Coach Prime is there, we think that, they should go to a bowl game. They should be a good team because of who it is. Winning 4 games, to me, it can't be a failure. When they won 1 game last year and they're never supposed to win ever.
On the field, it is a failure to me because you had opportunities to win football games and you didn't. And you played bad football. And that's everybody on the coaching staff. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the players on the field, they played bad football. They coached bad football. None of us would sit here and say, I don't care what team we talking about, that you lose 6 games in a row and we saying that ain't a failure. And you started this thing off 3-0. And I understand you turn this thing around. We gonna believe next year that he gonna turn it around again and win some more games. But this season on the football field, this team was a failure. They're going to finish this season. If they finish losing 6 in a row and you gave up a 26-point lead at halftime to a Stanford team that got how many wins?
I hear that.
Like, that's bad football.
Where did they come from?
They came from one.
It's a lot of people that came from that and winning, though, Shady.
Like who? I literally just said Jim Mora.
Like who?
At UConn. UConn was thinking about canceling their football program. Shady, they didn't even play in 2020 because they said it's not worth it.
Only thing I know about UConn is I always bet against them.
That's my point.
Okay.
And they still won 6.
I don't know.
That is my point.
All I'm saying is, and Deion and boys last year won 1 game and now they won 4. A chance to win 5 this game. I'm going with that. That's just my opinion, bro.
Let me ask you this.
I know teams has been bad. And they used to be in bad.
So if they finish with 4 losing 6, you're saying that's success?
That's success to me. You're coming from 1 win.
Shady, let me ask you this.
You're coming from, I don't get that. If you win 1 game, 1 year, right?
So Shady.
And your program never really been good ever. They had a small little span where they were decent. With Eric Bieniemy and Cordell Stewart, they had a nice little window where they was solid, right? But then over the period of time, they've been bad. I was Colorado came and talked to me in college or high school. When we go, where? Man, look, go to the door next door. It's another LeSean McCoy there. This is not the one you want to talk to.
Let me ask you this.
What?
Do you believe, first off.
Because I ain't going to Colorado if Deion Sanders ain't there right now.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that Prime, if he finished the season at 4-8, would say the season was a success?
That's all I'm saying. No.
You know him better than anybody at the desk.
From when they came from?
Shady.
Shady.
How about this? When you ever go to, you've been to bad teams? Oh, my God. You went to the Browns,
I went 5-7 at Texas.
So, look, when you go to a bad team, you come from being successful, go to a bad team, you watch all the old clips, the old games, old practice, you're like, oh, my God. I got to get these players out of there. And then you take them players, right, some of them,
Shady,
and you win.
Not answering the question.
Come on.
Why does everything this is a stupid question. We're doing television.
He would
why
say
does everything
failure.
have to be one or the other?
If Prime was sitting here right now, 4-8, he would not say the success was on the football field.
It's not a success. It's disappointing. To say that it was a complete failure.
It's not a failure to me. The question was says it's a failure. I'm saying it's not a failure.
So it's like kind of a failure?
On the field, it's a failure.
No, it's not a failure,
It's not a complete failure because
No.
off the field, it has been miraculous. Miraculous. That's why it's not a complete failure. But if we made him nameless...
But hold on, no. See, this is where you lost me. Because the only reason that off the field was success was because of the winning that they did on the field.
I would disagree.
What do you mean you disagree? So if they won 1 game this year, we was going over there to do our show there?
We weren't, but I think Cedric the Entertainer was still going. I think Lil Baby was still going. I think they were still going.
Can we have a serious conversation for 3 seconds?
I'm having a serious conversation.
You are telling me that sideline looks like that at the USC game if they had not won 1 game yet?
Yes, because of Prime. Now, does it look like that? No, not in totality. But the reason that sideline was still popping, because the stadium was sold out for Colorado, UCLA. Hasn't been sold out before UCLA.
Hello, the win started at the beginning of the season.
Correct.
The TCU win started all of this. And then the next win, and then the next win.
Yep.
So the hype, the energy, us going to the game, that sideline looked like that because of the wins that they had at the beginning of the season.
Their first 4 games, they had the most views on
They still have. What point are you making?
You can't change the timeline. Like, we're here now, and you're saying that off the field it was a success.
1,000%.
The only reason that off the field success happened is because of the wins on the field that happened at the beginning of the season. But the wins validated it.
Correct, but
That's why it was the story.
But what does that have to do with the fact that if you don't make a bowl game, if they don't, because keep in mind, you're making great points. We went to the USC game, the record was 3-0 maybe at the time. They've won one game since. We went to the USC game, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, September 20.
No, they had lost to Oregon.
They had lost to Oregon, so they're 3-1. We went September 27th. It is Check's date, November 16th. They have one win since then.
I hear you.
It's a failure.
But what I'm saying is, you can't say that to Shady's point, they won one game last year, right?
Yes.
The wins on the field, touchdown, score, those things matched up with the hype of Deion Sanders and made it into what it was. So you can't say that the off-the-field success would be what it was if they didn't have the wins on the field.
Real quick, I just remember when they beat TCU and Prime got up there to that podium and he said, I told y'all we was coming, pause. You got what I'm saying? He said, we told y'all that, right? They rolled off the next two. They was 3-0. And Prime is getting up there talking. Everybody in the media is talking about how good this football team is, right? If we were to say that you are only going to win one game for the rest of the season, Prime, that's a failure. I know Deion Sanders really, really close working with Deion Sanders at the network. If Prime was sitting right here where Joy is right now, we say, Prime, you fooling whatever.
Prime, keep
is
it
that
real.
a successful season? Prime would sit here and
keep it
tell the
real.
world
I mean, y'all know him
Prime would keep it real.
that is a failure on the football field.
It's
Point blank, period.
It's all about where you come from, man. I always say that.
Come on,
It's all where you
man.
come
But
from,
even
bro.
think about what he did at Jackson State.
Come from one win.
Jackson State was not a perennial powerhouse, and then Prime went there, and they had won 12 games. He took them a further distance, Shady, so I'm not disagreeing with you. But winning 4 games, it's just not that impressive.
There's no way that Shador, Travis Hunter, and them think that 4 wins is
It's
a
a success.
success. Ain't no way.
But it's not a total failure either.
On the field, it
And so it's
is.
not a total failure, and it's not a total success.
You've been on the 0-12 team, right?
And it was a failure.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.